to accompany the Chief Justice onto the dais. May I now request Mr. Bhaskar, President of MBA, Mr. Mohana Krishnan, President of MHA, Ms. N.S. Revati, President of Women Lawyer Association, to join us on the stage, please. Mr. Selvaraj, President of the Law Association, please. May I now request Mr. Nitin Thakur, the President of Bombay Bar Association, to join us on the stage. We will start the program with Tamil Thai Vaalthu, the invocation song. I invite Mrs. Vijita Jayaganesan.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தே கிழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரிதனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிளமை திரும்பி எந்த செயல் மறந்த வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
I invite Mr. P.S. Raman, the Advocate General of the State, to give his welcome address for this August gathering.
My Lord, Honorable Chief Justice, Justice K.R. Sriram, Justice Sundar, Justice Mary from Malaysia, Mr. Somayaji, Senior Advocates Forum's convener, Mr. Om Prakash, the Secretary, Mr. Parth Sathi, the co-convener, Mr. Bhaskar, President of MBA, Mr. Mohana Krishnan, President of MHAA, Ms. Revati, President of WLA, Mr. Selvaraj, President of the Law Association, and finally, not the least but the most, the reason for this evening, Mr. Nitin Thakur, Senior Advocate and President of the Bombay Bar Association. Visiting friends from outstation, fellow lawyers, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, it was a pleasant surprise for me to see the invitation card and then find that at 5 p.m. I was supposed to give the welcome address. I didn't know that. I was more surprised by the second part of it, which says that 5 p.m. to 5:10 p.m. I don't know why one needs to welcome anybody for 10 minutes. So I promise you I'll be much more brief than that. But possibly the reason why Om and Somayaji sir felt it obligatory to call me to give the welcome address, not because I was the outgoing convener of this forum, but it's possibly because I laid the small seed for this program a few months back. When an afternoon I got a call from my Lord the Chief Justice, and being the gentleman that he is, he wanted my permission to share my phone number with a colleague, a friend of his from Bombay. He could have just said, I am doing it. I said, by all means. He said, no, it's about something good for our High Court. You will also like it. So do listen to what they have to say. And soon enough, Mr. Thakkar called me. And we had a long conversation where he told me about what exactly is the concept of advocacy training that Bombay Bar had introduced, and with the kind of success with which it has been done over the last several years, with help from several dignitaries and legal instructors from both within and outside the country. I was extremely taken up and impressed with the potential that this program possibly has to offer to the young lawyers of the Madras Bar. And I immediately told him that I would put him in touch with Mr. Somayaji and Mr. Om Prakash, because already independent of this exercise, after Mr. Somayaji and Om Prakash took over from me, the Senior Advocates Forum has been concentrating on a lot to do with legal education. They have been having like lecture programs and things like that. So I thought this will immediately fit a bill for the forum to take up. And after that, I have nothing more to do with it other than I think possibly I was the marriage broker, and the marriage has taken up on its own. The program itself, as to what it involves and all that, I'm sure my friends will be talking to you about it. But from what I could make out, it's not only interesting but extremely educative. And when I talk about education, I'm talking about education in a broader sense, because it's not only teaching the lawyers, it's something not just on law, it is teaching them on something far more important in law as a litigator, that is advocacy. Because there is a big deal. Justice Subramaniam, welcome. Since I am on the welcome address, I can welcome you. There is a big difference between legal learning and advocacy. At the end of the day, a lawyer is as good as how good an advocate he is, on his legs, to understand the mind of the court, to know when to switch off or switch on a particular line of arguments. These are things which have got to be taught. In the days way back in the 40s and 50s, time when people like my father had joined the legal profession, there was a compulsory articleship. It was called apprenticeship course. And not only do the lawyers have to do that 1 year of apprenticeship, after doing that 1 year apprenticeship, they have got to write an apprentice examination. And the lawyer under whom they did the apprentice, once they pass that apprentice examination, will move the enrollment of that lawyer in the first court on one Monday or one Wednesday every month. There used to be hardly some 10 or 15 enrollments. That's how they were enrolled. Today we have about 1,500 lawyers on a normal enrollment day. Yes, I was party to one where I think the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu beat all records when we had 1,640 enrolling on one day. So in this Mela, the importance of advocacy somewhere gets lost. So the very purpose of this course is something I think which is rudimentary for the success of any lawyer. And I'm so glad that the Senior Advocates Forum has chosen to implement it. And they have done a selection process, which I think Mr. Somayaji will be explaining. And I'm sure the young lawyers who have been chosen for this advocacy program are going to immensely benefit from the knowledge and experience which their instructors are going to give them over the next few days of the training program. I wish this advocacy training course all the very best and wish you all a good evening. Thank you. I still did cover it in 7.
Thank you, sir. The Advocate General had been very humble in pointing out that we had wanted him to render this welcome address because he was an outgoing convener of this forum. But fact remains that he is the leader of the bar. So we wanted the leader of the bar to lead the occasion. And being an advocacy training program, it starts from where we emulate from persons. And when we speak about this program, I need to just pass on 2 information. One, as Advocate General said, he had the first call of having some contact with the Bombay Bar Association, trying to understand the advocacy training course which was being conducted. Then Mr. Somayaji had called me and said that, why can't you reach out and find out what is that, and we have to definitely do for the bar here. When this was simultaneously happening, there was one incident which had happened in the first court. While hearing a petition, the Honorable Chief Justice was examining an affidavit. Now, halfway through, when he went to the almost last page of the affidavit, he said, enough is said, if whoever is the person who has filed this affidavit, you better take it back. We were a bit amused. We don't know whether it was the content, whether it was the party or anything. The Honorable Chief Justice pointed out, I want to make this clear, at least for the benefit of the younger members in the bar. Please see how the jurist portion is done. He was pointing out as to the deponent's signature and the attestation which was made. To put it in simple terms, it gave an impression that somebody had been asked to sign in some blank papers. Later it was typed. What was worrying for the Chief Justice was that there was an advocate who has attested it. So he had pointed out there is something called before me in the jurist portion. The signature of the deponent is much below, and the attesting advocate signature is somewhere left hand side. So he told the counsel on record, if you withdraw, this helps an young lawyer at the bar, because he found out by the time the enrollment number was sometime in 2023. He said, I don't want to put the young member of the bar into trouble. Better you take back the affidavit, get it done. So that were all small nuances which we need to learn, which we need to follow, which we need to practice in making a better advocate. We cannot afford to make mistakes like this. Since Justice R. Subramaniam is here, I need to also point out as to how Justice R. Subramaniam would react to such situation which we have also seen. He would start off from the point saying that this is what you have learnt. Then probably point out to the factor from which chamber you came. He would be quite harsh. Fact remains to make them learn in the long way. But the fact remains that learning is a process, and that learning comes from very many situations. And I will take one more minute by referring to Justice M. Sundar also. Justice M. Sundar would be very, very particular in terms of starting from the provisions which are there. I have a personal experience. I had appeared in an OS appeal arising from Arbitration Act by virtue of Section 37. That particular day, nothing had happened in the court, matter had to be adjourned. Justice Sundar said, Mr. Senior Counsel, I would like to take one concurrence from you. Can I make it as a record that though this appeal cost title shows as an appeal under Section 37, read with Letters Patent Act, you are making it clear that the appeal is only under 37 of the Arbitration Conciliation Act. I said, yes, my lord, I cannot say anything more than that. He made it part of a record. What happens is that if these small things which come up for consideration of the court, over the period of time, it becomes a practice for us to ensure that we don't commit these mistakes. So today, whenever a brief comes, I may probably first start looking at what is the provision which is quoted, is the cause title proper, then is the entire pleadings are proper. So all, when simultaneously, as I said, Mr. Somayaji had spoke to me and I was in touch with Mr. Nitin Thakur in Mumbai and I happened to witness these things. I really felt that this is the need of ours. Somewhere we have to train the young lawyers in a better way. So in that process, we had traveled up to this stage, and the following 2 days we are going to have this training program. Now, even before this, when we had been reaching out to people about today's program of inauguration, I had at least 20-25 people reaching out, how do I register, how do I become part of this training program? And some people had an impression that who is going to talk. So as usual, whenever we have a training course, we have a lecture, so they come and sit and take note of the lecture series. So we said it is not like that. So we have already commenced the registration long back. Registration process is over. In fact, for the benefit of audience, I need to tell you that all the candidates who have been registered and shortlisted to participate in the training program had already gone through 2 online sessions. Myself and Somayaji sir had the benefit of also being part of that online sessions for 2 hours. Our friends from Bombay had taken them in extenso, making it clear that you have been provided with material. Please go through that, get yourself prepared. And how to get yourself prepared was also spelled out to the candidates so that they use the maximum time of next to 2 days, which is going to be a hands-on training program with a real-life experience of being part of a court hall. So with these few words, since the Advocate General had instigated me with some more things, I thought I also have to add to this. Now, may I request Mr. Somayaji sir and Mr. Nitin Thakur, and also request Mr. Farhan Dubash to get onto stage to felicitate our Chief Justice with a small memento as a small love and gratitude on our part. Thank you, sir. This is just a token of love for our Honorable Chief Justice for having been instrumental in initiating this program. I now invite Mrs. Vijita Jayaganeshan to the stage and request the Chief Justice to felicitate our singer for the day, who is otherwise a quite busy person. On our special request, she had joined us for the invocations. I request Sri A.L. Somayaji, the convener of our forum and senior advocate, to offer the felicitations for the day.
Good evening to all of you. My Lord the Chief Justice, Sri Ram, and other dignitaries on the dais, Justice R. Subramaniam, Justice M.M. Sundar, we are really grateful to you for honoring us by being present here. And my dear friends, enough has been said about the program, but I want to mention a few things about this program and also in the past what was done by the Tamilnadu Bar Association. As the Advocate General pointed out, we had an apprenticeship program. After you complete the BL degree, for a period of 1 year, I do not know how many of you here have undergone it, but I have undergone it personally, so I know what it is. After you complete the law degree, you have to join an office, you have to undergo apprenticeship for a period of 1 year. It is not mere attending the office of the Advocate General. advocate concerned. But you have to go to each court and find out what is happening, which case, and record it in a diary. And that diary has to be produced to the Bar Council before you are allowed to write the examination. They conduct examination in various subjects, and you have to pass through that examination. Then only you are allowed to get yourself enrolled as an advocate. Unfortunately, that system was abandoned. I don't know for what reason by the Bar Council. It is a very good system. In fact, I remember one occasion I was part of a firm when I joined as an apprentice. I joined the firm of Iyer and Dolia. My senior, Mr. Dolia, requested me to accompany one of the senior most lawyers there and go to civil court. I went along with him. It was a suit based on, for recovery of money, based on accounts. So the city civil court judge said, all right, where is the defendant? He was not there. So he was set ex parte. And he asked my senior in the office to let in evidence. That man got into the box, and the first question which he put to the plaintiff was, is this the account book which you maintain in regular course of business? The answer was no. And the judge was good enough. He said, you prepare your witness and come tomorrow. So that is how it was. And this program, which has been designed by the Bombay Bar Association, is an excellent program. And to be very frank to you, Mr. Nitin, we were not aware of this program till we were informed about it by the Advocate General after his conversation with the learned Chief Justice. And it is a good program, and according to me, we should not stop this program with the metropolitan cities, and we should carry it to the Mufassal Center, because the Constitution enjoins the state to give free legal aid and legal assistance. That purpose, even though the obligation is cast only on the state, the lawyers who defend the cases or who give the legal aid, they should be competent enough. So it is all the more necessary that they are properly trained in the legal profession. And the persons who are experienced, they will be able to partake their knowledge and experience with the juniors. This program, I think we first shortlisted 40 people, and we selected about 36 or so, anticipating that one or two may be able to absent themselves. So it is 36. Actually, the program is for 35. And as Mr. Om Prakash pointed out, Secretary pointed out, we happened to listen to the online training given to them by the Bombay trainers. It was an excellent thing, and they prepare themselves how to prepare the plaint, what are the admissions in the plaint, what are the questions you should put in chief examination, what are the questions you should ask in cross-examination, which should be avoided, which should be given prominence. That is an excellent program which no lawyer will get that experience unless he actually goes to court and practices. Even an experienced lawyer at times may commit some mistakes while cross-examining. A question which ought not to have been put is put. So, sir, we are really grateful to Nitin for giving us this opportunity, and we assure him and our friends from Malaysia, including the federal court judge, that we will carry out this program, not only in Chennai, but in Madurai and other places, with your full cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Mr. Nitin Thakur, Senior Advocate, President of the Bombay Bar Association, to offer his felicitations for the event.
My Lord, Mr. Justice Sriram, the Chief Justice of Madras High Court, the other honorable judges of Madras High Court, all the dignitaries sitting on the dais, my friends from Malaysia and Mumbai, and all the other friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm immensely grateful to the Chief Justice, as we happened to meet in Bombay while he was here and he came to Mumbai, and he said, you must come and see our High Court. It is a heritage complex, and you will never find such a High Court anywhere else in India. And when Chief Justice invites you, you are always tempted. And while speaking with him, I said that I can't come alone. I have to come with all my friends. And how can I bring my friends? And His Lordship had inaugurated one of our session in Mumbai. So he was aware of this program. And then I suggested that can we come and do this program with Chennai? He liked the idea, and then he put the Advocate General in touch with me, and rest is the history, I would say. And we are here before you today. So we are immensely grateful to Your Lordship for this suggestion, and thank you very much for that. We are extremely grateful to Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum for having accepted the idea that this can be done and this should be done for the young lawyers of Madras, Chennai. And the hospitality which they have extended, because we have been speaking with them on video calls, we have been speaking with them on Zoom calls, we have been having meetings, and they have been also participating in the 2 preliminary sessions. And we find them to be extremely, extremely helpful. They have gone out of their way to look after us, and really thank you very much, Mr. Om Prakash, Somayaji, and all your team. It's heartening for us also to see that Honorable Chief Justice has honored us today by inaugurating the course. We organized in 2023 when he inaugurated, and today in 2025 he is inaugurating here in Chennai. We have taken this initiative to set the ball rolling, so that junior members of the bar have this unique opportunity to learn. This course has taken a tremendous amount of hard work from the team of Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum, and I'm sure that this course will be of tremendous help and tremendous guidance to the young lawyers. This course has now a faculty of 60 experienced and trainers from Mumbai, including senior counsel, who volunteer their precious weekends and have trained nearly 300 junior lawyers since we began in 2021. And we have been trained, our trainers have been trained by the trainers from Malaysia, because we are associated now with International Advocacy Training Council. And from various jurisdictions, from Malaysia, from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from South Africa, Australia, England, Wales, the lawyers come. Some of the judges are also part of the training courses. And they come to Mumbai, and they have trained our seniors and our faculty members who are here today. They are all trained by International Advocacy Training Council people. So we are extremely grateful to the International Council for having trained our people, and so having been part of and witnessed the inception of the course, I take immense pride in the way it has been shaping up. I would like here to specially thank Namrata Shah, who is a coordinator for our course here, as she was a person to introduce Bombay Bar Association to International Advocacy Training Council so that we can do this course. And to my young friends who are doing this for the first time, who are taking part in the course, I hope that you will make the most of this opportunity. It isn't something I had when I started out. So Somayaji mentioned about apprenticeship course. In Mumbai, when I joined the bar in 1968, I did not have any such apprenticeship course. I did not have a chance to cross-examine a witness till I was in 10th or 15th years of my practice. Because we were not taught, we were not trained like this. You are getting this opportunity today when you are going to get hands-on training in examination in chief, in cross-examination. As Mr. Om Prakash Somayaji mentioned that the witness had to be asked that question and that witness was not even trained properly. But really it is a fascinating thing, the entire judicial system, how by asking questions, by getting replies, we can reach the truth in the matter. And that's what we are here to learn. Our goal is to provide you an opportunity to interact with the senior lawyers and learn from them in a safe environment. By the time you get to Sunday evening, I assure you, you will see a significant improvement in your performance and in your understanding of fundamental concepts. As Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. And I'm sure this course will make you a man of value. Success will follow thereafter. I would also like to extend my thanks to all our trainers. But for you, we would not have been doing this 9th course. This is our first course outside Maharashtra. We have gone to Goa once, which is part of Bombay High Court. The first time we are doing this course for any other jurisdiction in India. And we are really, really privileged and thankful to all of you that we are getting this opportunity. My special thanks to for our trainers from Malaysia. Thank you very much for having come here. And I wish all the very best to my young friends who are going to participate in this course. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Nitin had been referring that he was invited to come and have the look of the heritage of this court. On behalf of the forum, just an assurance, tomorrow morning we have organized a heritage walk. Our senior advocate, Mr. N.L. Raja, is going to take all of the trainers, going to take all of them through the court complex, explaining all the details insofar as this heritage as well as historical court is concerned. And Nitin sir also referred as to the trainers who had come.
I wanted to introduce our Bombay Bar Association. It is one of the oldest bar association we are claiming in India, because we have been able to trace the history of the Bombay Bar Association, the written history record of last 160 years. So the association, we have got, these are the minutes which we have, recorded minutes are there of the association of that period onwards. So I would like Mr. Farhan Dubash to present. We brought about a volume, remembrance volume of that day, and I would request him to present one to the learned Chief Justice. Yeah, along with our calendar. We this year requested our I know. Therefore, I said we are claiming. I realized that. Please give one to the Advocate General. Mr. Somayaji. Yeah, will. Yeah, Justice Subramaniam. Yeah. Justice Sundar. Mr. Somayaji. Mr. Bhaskar, President of Madras Bar Association. Mr. Mohan Krishnan. Ms. Revati. And Mr. Selvaraj. Along with this, we have given a calendar. This year, we invited lawyers of our members of our association to give their paintings, because as a lawyer, we should not confine ourselves to only law. You must have other hobbies, So all our lawyers submitted about 40, 50 paintings, and we invited an expert to select, and we selected out of that 12 paintings, and we made a calendar out of it. So along with this book, we have given a calendar also, which contains the paintings by the members of our association. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Bhaskar, the President of MBA, wants to have a minute of our time.
Good evening. Mr. President Nitin Thaka, our association, Madras Bar Association, is also 160 year. We are celebrating the 160 year tomorrow in our association auditorium, where Honorable CM is participating in the function. We request all the members from the Bar Association from Bombay and also dignitaries from Malaysia to participate in. Thank you.
As Mr. Nitin sir was referring, we have about 20 trainers who have joined us to impart this training for about 40 students. So you may get to know the seriousness of the program as to the commitment which they have made. Among the 20, we have 4 of them who have traveled all along from Malaysia to join us. Thanks to Mr. Nitin as well as Mr. Farhan, who had been instrumental in that. When we conceived this program and we were looking forward to go forward, we never had this plan. And Mr. Farhan one day called me and said, I am looking at some more international trainers also, and that is how we had the benefit of 4 of them joining from Malaysia. Thanks for all those things, sir. So as sir was telling, they have about 30 trainers. So that gives a lesson for us. It's not that the young lawyers who have to get trained, the seniors have to become trainers now. Commit yourself towards certain cause, spend your time on that. We from the Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum, we had requested Mr. Sengutvel, Mr. PVS Giridhar, Mr. Gautam to be part of the training program, and from day one they had also been traveling together, so that from our side there will be some contribution as well as we get to learn from whatever it is. And over the period of time, we will assure you, Nitin sir, that we will also have a battalion of senior advocates who will be trainers, and we wish we travel with you pan-India wherever the program is being conducted and lend our support to the cause of it. As part of the Malaysian delegate, we have Justice Mary Lim, who is retired federal judge and who now runs an arbitration center and program and being part of the advocacy training course. So may I request Justice Mary Lim to have a few words.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Right Honorable Chief Justice and all the honorable judges of what a beautiful court here is. You have, I think, what would be described as one of God's best kept secrets. And for me, before I greet the rest, it's almost like a homecoming, because my son-in-law, my only son-in-law, is actually from this part of the world. So I have two granddaughters who are part Indian, and I'm extremely proud of it. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for allowing me to have a little part of this evening's inauguration. I have never witnessed something so beautiful as this evening's ceremony, with each speaker speaking from the heart. On behalf of the Malaysian delegation, on behalf of the International Advocacy Training Council, let me first of all express my and our gratitude to the immense warmth and generosity that has just been so, it's so instinctive and it's so heartwarming. As I said just now, on my own personal front, it's like homecoming. It certainly is. May I, with respect, just explain a little bit why a judge, even though retired, was and is ever involved in an advocacy training course. Well, it started, as far as Malaysia is concerned, with an equally committed Chief Justice, like yourself, Chief Justice. Our Right Honorable Chief Justice then, in 2009, was not content to just sit and watch all the bad habits, all that incompetency, and all that what was happening in our courts pass us by. He felt that it was time that he did something too. And in one of his journeys back to the Inns of Court in England, he met up with the Advocacy Training Council in the United Kingdom, and together with the Bar Council of Malaysia, decided that it was time to train ourselves, not just to be trained as lawyers, to be trained as trainers, because it has to be a commitment that is lifelong. And the reason why he felt, Right Honorable Chief Justice Tun Zaki felt, that it had to come from the judiciary was because we ultimately are the consumers. We ultimately are the persons who have been ordained by our constitution, and in Malaysia by a written constitution, to administer justice under the rule of law. And there would be no compromise, and there cannot be any compromise. It is not a matter of just speaking and complaining from the bench. It was time that the bench actually got down, got dirty, so to speak, and do something about it. And together with the Bar Council in Malaysia and a group of trainers from the United Kingdom, we then set about training a core group of 50 judges, lawyers, senior lawyers, who were handpicked, like what you have done here in Tamil Nadu, so that we could train and make sure that there is continuity in whatever we were planning to do. And that was to clean up the standards and to keep those standards up and to be maintained. That 50, I believe, has more than tripled. I'm extremely proud of the faculty in Malaysia, comprising not just of the senior members of the bar, but also sitting judges. And it is the view of that Chief Justice and the Chief Justices who have followed since. And in Malaysia, our Chief Justice at the moment is the First Lady Chief Justice, in our part of the world in Malaysia. We are immensely proud of her. I've sat with Right Honourable Chief Justice Tunku Maimun for the longest time, from the High Court and right up to the Federal Court. And Right Honourable Chief Justice is totally committed and has encouraged us judges to be part of it, because it is quite different if the teaching comes, or the teaching point comes from the judge. The same point said by counsel about this is not what the judge wants is quite different from when the judge as trainer says, well, this is actually what we were looking for. And we frequently on the bench can only say so much without descending into the arena. And so, Right Honourable Chief Justices throughout, we are totally privileged, have been encouraging all the judges to be involved. So our judges and the members of the bar who are part of the training faculty do not only teach basic advocacy, we also teach advocacy in civil advocacy. We also teach criminal advocacy, appellate advocacy, experts training, and now in my dotage years, retired now from the bench, I find it so important to remember that advocacy is actually equally important in alternative dispute resolution, in arbitration. Those good practices that you will be learning, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable judges, we will take it into our next career, because it's so important that the standards that we learn, we impart, we encourage, are actually maintained, regardless whether the administration of justice is done in the court of law or before tribunals like in private arbitration. And at the end of the day, we are only trying to encourage resolution of disputes properly and according to the rule of law. And I hope, like Malaysia, Right Honourable Chief Justice, you might want to consider encouraging the judges with the greatest respect to perhaps peep in our sessions and see how best to contribute. The reason why partly Malaysia does it too is because we are a large jurisdiction compared to Singapore and Hong Kong, where it is also easy to leave it to the bar. In Malaysia, because of the substantial bar that we have, the judges have become involved. And in part of the country, some part of the country, it is in fact compulsory for the advocates to have undergone the training before they can be admitted. We find that at the end of the day, what has this advocacy training done for anyone? And we've been doing it for over 15 years, not as old as some other jurisdiction. Well, we have enjoyed those fruits of very painful labor. I would like to acknowledge the contributions of my colleagues from Malaysia, as well as the colleagues from the Mumbai Bar, because they all do this for free. And I am indeed indebted to them. I personally do it for a very, very selfish reason, because I can't keep scolding. I couldn't keep scolding from the bench. So it was time to go down and do it. And I did it because I wanted to hear cases at a higher level of proficiency, and I got it in the end. And the results have shown. Thank you very much, Madras High Court. It's such a beautiful place, and thank you so much for your warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Mary Lim. It was wonderful hearing from you. A very new perspective as to the entire training program. We are now at the moment of the day. May I invite His Lordship, the Chief Justice, to give the inaugural address.
brother, Justice Subramaniam, Justice Sundar, the Additional Solicitor General Sri Sundareshan, the Advocate General Sri Krishnan, Justice Mary Lynn, Sri Somayaji, Nitin Bhai, Sri Bhaskar, Sri Mohana Krishnan, Ms. Revati, Sri Selvaraj, and all others present here, ladies and gentlemen. All of them have told you how the whole program got conceived. When I saw the topic of the training program I was given, it's more related to trial, recording of evidence. And there is no straitjacket formula as to how you record evidence in the matter. In fact, I would be really keen to see how this is trained, because I recollect in my younger days when I was working initially with a colleague in 3 marine inquiries under the Merchant Shipping Act. It was a fact-finding inquiry when the crew members were interrogated by the Mercantile Marine Department, and the classification surveyors, the ship surveyors, the insurance surveyors were all examined. My colleague used to write about 25, 30 pages of questions to be asked. So one day I was, soon after I went off to UK, came back, and I was in Justice Variava's court. I was in courtroom number 2 on the ground floor. That famous Jai Hind Oil Mills case was going on. For 6 months the trial went on. So Mr. Jethmalani was cross-examining a general manager of Vijaya Bank, if I recollect correctly. I'm talking of 92, 93. So whenever we had no work, we would just hang around, walk with a brief to show that we have got some work, and then go and sit in some court to see what's happening. Because what you learn watching others in court cannot be replaced with looking into books and reading the briefs. It teaches you how to prepare for a matter, how to read the judge, and what to expect, and how the judge expects you to respond. So just before lunch break, I could get some place to stand behind Mr. Jethmalani, and he was not a very big man. He was not a very tall man, let me put it that way. So I was looking behind, peeping into his notes to see the way he was firing questions, and the witness had tears we could see. So then when the court broke for lunch, I asked him, Sir, I was watching you asking questions after questions, but I never saw you having written down the questions. So he said, young man, if I had written down the questions, I'm joking, not cross-examining. So I said, sir, how did you do it? He said, I write the answer I want. And that exactly what my senior did, and that exactly is what I also learned in my practice. I'll tell you 3 small instances, which for the youngsters who are going to undergo the training program would be of use. There was this matter of Bombay Port Trust used to file suits against all shipping agents to recover deficit sale proceeds from storage charges. Storage charges have incurred, they sell after years together. Mr. Pradeep Sancheti, senior advocate, used to be on the other side for the port all the time. And they will recover, sue the agent to pay for the shortfall in the sale proceeds. And the first paragraph was always, oh, these are the bailers, a case of bailment. As bailers, they have to pay for this, shipping agents, etc., etc. So one of the witness who had prepared the evidence affidavit was an accounts officer. So I asked him, because see, again, you can't be asking straightforward questions. If the witness is smart, he will know what you're driving at. So I asked him his education background. He said he was a BCom graduate. And I said, which department were you in? Legal department, etc., etc. We went on and on. So I said, which are the law books have you studied? What subject? He says, no, I am not a law student. I said, then can you, so therefore would I be right to assume that you wouldn't know in which act this bailment and all would come? So he said, no, I wouldn't know which act it is. So I said, so would I be right to assume that your law officer would have told you this affidavit is all right? Poor guy, unwillingly, he said, yes. So I said, so which are the paragraphs that he said are okay? He said, no, he read the whole thing. He said, it's okay, you go and sign. So I said, no, you tell which you know about. He said, no, I don't know anything personally about it. So then I closed the evidence there. There was another matter. I mean, this is where lawyers, even if you're youngsters, for them, even if your witness is in the box, does not mean you can go into a sleep mode. You have to be alert. There was this very large ore and oil carrier. It was a total loss marine insurance claim. And my witness, the owner, was in the box. And the ship, we had lost it while beaching. And it was a huge total loss claim. So we wanted to actually get the beaching master as the best witness. But then we realized that he will not be a good witness, so we decided not to get him. Many a time one thing keep in mind, we should never tutor our witness, because they cannot think the way you think, then they cannot be alert the way you will be alert. So it's better to train them by cross-examining, have a mock cross-examination so that they know. And then you tell them, oh, is that right? Why could it not be like this? So then they will say, yes, you're right, that could be. Then why did you say this? That answer will register in their mind than you telling them, answer like this. Because they'll be thinking, oh, if this question comes, oh, I should answer like that. Because in that bargain, they forget the rest of it. So the witness was asked, my dear friend from Bombay, he was on the other side. I wouldn't take his name here. He asked the witness a question. Are you going to get the beaching master as a witness? Now, even I was not prepared to expect such a question. Nobody asked who is going to be a witness. So I said, I object to this question. That only lawyers can decide who will be a witness, not a witness. My client was smart. Sir, I will answer that question. He said, yes, answer. So he said, that my lawyer will decide who will be the witness. So what I'm saying, your alertness as a lawyer, sitting there even when your witness is in the witness box, is really very, very important. The third one is of a total loss where the ship had sunk off Malta, 40 people had died. The Mercantile Marine Department was gunning for the surveyors, classification society. And they had brought a master whose salary had not been paid and got an affidavit prepared by him to say that the ship was unseaworthy when she set sail. And the plates were thinning. So he was asked, you have an engine side and deck side? He said, yes, you're the master. Yes, you're the big boss. Yes, the chief engineer looks after the engine side. He said, yes. So he goes and checks the thickness of the plate along with the surveyors while doing ultrasonic gauging. He said, yes. So he must have come and told you that the plates are all thinning. He said, yes. So we said, next topic. Because that is hearsay evidence, which he, without realizing, he has admitted that it was hearsay evidence. So this is the way you will have to go through when you are doing a trial. What is more important is you have to be alert all the time. You cannot go on sleep mode even for a moment. When Mr. Somayaji mentioned about the witness's statement, I recollect I had a personal experience. We had taken a Korean crew to get his affidavit affirmed. I was an intern, so one of my colleagues said, just go with him, get the affidavit done. I accompanied the clerk also to see how things are happening. So the officer asked me, does he know English? I said, yes. So he said, really? He said, looking at him, I don't think he can speak English. He knows English. I said, how can you say that looking at him, he wouldn't know English? He said, wait, I'll prove. So he said, whatever is written, you have read? He said, yes. So whatever is written here is all false? He said, yes. So when Mr. Somayaji mentioned about it, I was remembering that. Evidence affidavit, the way Mr. Om Prakash also mentioned about it. You're all lucky today with the amendment you can file evidence affidavit by way of examination in chief. But people forget. Now, I have seen more, because trial has not been happening. I wouldn't blame the youngsters. Trial has been unfortunately given a back seat. And even for judges, I would request and say, the fun that you get doing a trial is you don't get while doing an interim application or anything. Because sometimes you also feel like, come on, can't you ask this question? The affidavits in examination in chief, by and large, are plains converted into a first party person. I have seen evidence affidavits saying drawn by and settled by. Evidence affidavits having limitation clause, jurisdiction clause, cause of action clause. Evidence affidavits dealing as a rejoinder to the written statement filed. So when I used to take the evidence on file and mark documents, the first thing we would see, Mr. Sanjay Jain has appeared in quite a few matters, and so also Shyam Kapadia in those matters. My first job would be to go through the affidavit and score off portions which cannot be called testimony. So a huge portion, almost 35% of the evidence is all scored off. So keep that in mind, that when you're leading evidence, it should be evidence, not a plaint. You're not proving. You have to prove your case. Your pleadings are already there. I was talking to Sri Bhaskar and Sri Mohana Krishnan on Monday, when after the oath of Brother Justice Velmurugan and Justice Dhanbal was over, when we were having tea. This is something which even other associations to take over. Because Justice Mary Lim mentioned about the standards going down. I wouldn't blame many of the lawyers, at least here. I think all our lawyers are doing the best they can, and they work really hard. But many who come not from the cities to city to practice, and they don't have the benefit of, all don't have the benefit of joining a good chamber. Because good chamber is where your foundation is learned. You see your senior and perform. Of course, if your senior is not straightforward, you learn the same thing. If the senior is very particular, good, and who has a great regard and respect for the courts, you learn that. But they don't have the benefit of going through this process of being trained. because you need to sharpen them by training them. So you all should please take the lead. I felt when Nitin Bhai and we were talking we happened to meet at Mr. Chagla's funeral in Bombay. This thing came up and I shared the Advocate General's number with him. This is something which we need to, because the young lawyers are the future of the bar. The Madras High Court has had a great history, great legacy. The judgments delivered were phenomenal. The law as laid down by Madras High Court has been great. We need the youngsters to take this legacy forward, because it's not just a duty owed to them, but also to the public, to the litigators, a litigating public who come to the court seeking justice. If the persons who are their spokespersons are unable to deliver, then it will be a sad day. So keeping that in mind, we should continue this. We have set the ball rolling. I don't know whether, I won't be there for the next session, certainly, the next training session. But perhaps if I am invited, I'll come as a trainer. And because while training, you also learn. And I don't know whether it is the number of trainers was the reason for limiting the intake. When I saw only 40, I don't know. We should try. If non-availability of courtroom was a reason, then you should have brought it to my notice. We could have done something. But we should increase the intake. And we must spread the, bar associations also should, Mr. Bhaskar, Mr. Monakrishnan, and Madam, you all have to also tell that it is not just like a lecture seminar, it's a lot to do with an interactive session, so that they also get a feel. Not many get to do a trial, but they also get a feel how to conduct a matter. Thank you very much. I wish the participants, the trainers, all a lovely time in Chennai. Vanakkam.
Thank you, Lordship. I think I felt that the training session had already started from your initial speech. Major part of the speech was dedicated so that the trainers really get interested into it and inspired for the days to come. As a mark of love and respect for the trainers who had traveled all along, on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Senior Advocates Forum, we are looking forward to just honor them with a small memento. May I request the Chief Justice to hand over a memento to each of the trainers, as my friend would call out the names.
May I call upon Mr. Nitin Thakkar to the stage, please. Mr. Farhan Dubash. Ms. Namrata Shah.
May I request Justice R. Subramaniam and Justice M. Sundar to join us to honor the guest with starting the memento, please.
May I call upon Justice Mary Lim to the stage, please. Ms. Lavanya Kumarendran. Mr. Hui Min Oi. Mr. Gananathan Padmanathan.
Thank you, Justice. May I request Mr. M. Bhaskar, President of MBA, to do the honors for the other trainers for the day.
May I call upon Mr. Pradeep Sanjeti to the stage, please. Mr. Firoz Barucha. Ms. Mehak Bukwala. She's okay. She's not here. Thank you.
May I request Mr. Mohana Krishnan, President of MHA.
May I call upon Mr. Aditya Mehta to the stage. Mr. Sanjay Jain. Mr. Shyam Kapadia.
May I request Mr. Selvaraj, President, Law Association, to join us.
May I request Ms. Alpana Gone to come to the stage, please. Mr. Malcolm Siganporia. Mr. Nishant Sashidharan.
May I request Ms. Revati, President of Women Lawyer Association, to
May I call upon Mr. Aditya Thakkar. Mr. Jehan Mehta. Ms. Savita Ganu. And Mr. Swanand Ganu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed to the vote of thanks, I have only one small announcement. Post the session, I would request the honorable judges to just share the dais for a photograph with all our trainers here who had come, as well as the senior advocates of the forum. Now I request Mr. Parsardi to render the vote of thanks.
Honorable Mr. Justice K.R. Sriram, Chief Justice Madras High Court, Justice R. Subramaniam, Justice M. Sundar, P.S. Raman, Advocate General, Mr. A.R.L. Sundaresan, Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Nitin Taka, President of the Bombay Bar Association, Mr. A.L. Somayaji, Senior Advocate and Convener of the Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum, Mr. M. Bhaskar, President, Madras Bar Association, Mr. M. Mohana Krishnan, President, Madras High Court Advocates Association, N.S. Revati, President, Women's Law Association, Mr. P. Selvaraj, President, Law Association, esteemed dignitaries, respected senior advocates, and my dear colleagues. It is my great privilege to extend this vote of thanks on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Senior Advocates Forum. First and foremost, we express our deepest gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice of the Madras High Court for gracing this occasion with his presence and inspiring words. Your address highlighted the importance not just of advocacy and the role that it plays in our justice delivery system, but also the role that the senior members of the bar have in inculcating the learning to the next generation of lawyers. My Lord, your encouragement strengthens our commitment to promoting excellence in advocacy. A special and profound thanks to Senior Advocate Mr. Nitin Taka, President of the Bombay Bar Association, and the Bombay Bar Association itself, under whose aegis this program is conducted. Their unwavering support has made this initiative possible. The Bombay Bar Association's long-standing tradition of fostering legal excellence and professional development continues to serve as a guiding force for the legal community, and we are honored to be part of this shared vision. Let me also extend my thanks to Senior Advocate Mr. A.L. Somayaji, Convener of Tamil Nadu Senior Advocates Forum, whose efforts have been instrumental in bringing this program to fruition. And of course, I will be failing in my duty if I do not mention about the work done by Mr. Om Prakash, who has been a pillar of support. And our sincere appreciation extends to the office bearers of the various associations who have graced this occasion with their presence, to the distinguished speakers and trainers who will share their insights during this course. Your dedication to mentoring the next generation of advocates is truly creditable. Thank you for this. Finally, a warm thanks to everyone in attendance, senior advocates, young lawyers, and members of the legal fraternity. As we conclude today's inaugural address, let us carry forward the spirit of learning, mentorship, and excellence in advocacy. Thank you, one and all.
We stand up for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. May I invite the honorable judges and the trainers for a photo onto the stage.